G'day mates. Today on January 26th, Australia Day is celebrated throughout Australia. Australia Day is observed each year on January 26 and commemorates the 1788 arrival of the First Fleet and the raising of the British Union flag by Arthur Phillip at Sydney Cove on the southern shore of Sydney Harbour. The day is promoted by the Australian Day Council, an independent government-owned organisation. Activities are held to acknowledge Australians' contributions to the nation, encourage reflection on the country's history and reconciliation with Indigenous Australians, and celebrate the diversity and achievements of Australian society. Community award citizenship ceremonies and public events are commonly held, alongside the announcement of the Australia Day Honours, the Australian of the Year Awards on the eve of the holiday, and speeches by the Prime Minister and Governor-General. Australia Day is a public holiday across all states and territories and is marked nationwide through festivals, concerts, and ceremonies, making it the country's largest annual civic event. The meaning of Australia Day has changed over time. Celebrations date back to 1808, and debate over the day's significance has existed since at least 1888. Before the establishment of a national holiday, individual colonies observed their own founding anniversaries, such as Regatta Day in Tasmania, Queensland Day, and Foundation Day in Western Australia. New South Wales marked its own anniversary, Foundation Day, from 1818. After Federation in 1901, momentum grew for a unified national holiday, driven in part by the Australian Natives Association. The name Australia Day and the date of January 26 were officially adopted in 1935, with all states observing a public holiday around that time by 1940. The first major protest occurred in 1938 when the Australian Aborigines League held a day of mourning. In 1994, January 26 was fixed as the official date nationwide, sending the practice in some states of moving the holiday to create a long weekend. Since at least 1938, Australia Day has also been a day of protest and remembrance for many Indigenous Australians, who view it as marking the beginning of British colonization and the dispossession of land occupied by Aboriginal people for thousands of years. As a result, some observe January 26 as Invasion Day, Survival Day, or a day of mourning. Others have called for the date to be changed or the holiday to be abolished. While debate continues, polling has consistently shown majority support for retaining the date. A Roy Morgan poll conducted in January 2026 found that 60.5% of Australians supported keeping Australia Day on January 26. 70 years ago, on January 26, 1956, the 1956 Winter Olympics were opened in Cortina d'Ampezzo, Italy. Cortina d'Ampezzo, originally selected to host the 1944 Winter Olympics, was awarded the 1956 Games after prevailing over bids from Montreal, Colorado Springs, and Lake Placid. One distinctive feature of the Cortina Olympics was that many competition venues were located close enough for spectators and athletes to walk between them. While the Italian government funded infrastructure upgrades, the remaining costs were covered through private financing, making this the first Olympic organizing committee to depend heavily on corporate sponsorship. A total of 32 nations, the highest participation in Winter Olympics history up to that point, took part, competing across 4 sports and 24 events. Australian skier Tony Saylor made history by winning all 3 alpine skiing events at a single Olympic Games. These Olympics also marked the final occasion on which figure skating was held outdoors. The main logistical challenge was insufficient snowfall for alpine events, which was resolved by the Italian army supporting large quantities of snow to properly prepare the courses. Unlike the Summer Olympics that were later held that year in Melbourne, which were affected by boycotts related to the Hungarian Revolution and the Suez Crisis, political tensions did not disrupt the 1956 Olympics. The Cortina Olympics were also notable as the first Winter Games to be broadcast on television to audiences in multiple countries. And on January 26, 2020, a Sikorsky S-76 helicopter crashed into a hillside in the city of Calabasas, California, around 25 miles northwest of downtown Los Angeles, while en route from John Wayne Airport to Camarillo Airport. All 9 people on board were killed: retired professional basketball player Kobe Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter Gianna, baseball coach John Altobelli, his wife Carrie, and their 14-year-old daughter Elisa, Sarah Chester and her 13-year-old daughter Peyton, basketball coach Christina Mauser, and the pilot Ara Zobayan. The National Transportation Safety Board later investigated the crash and determined that it resulted from continued visual flight rules operation into instrument meteorological conditions. The helicopter flew into low cloud cover, causing the pilot to become spatially disoriented and lose control of the aircraft. Well, that's all I have for today. Today is also my mom's birthday, and I sang her a happy birthday this morning on the phone, and that's all I did for today. If you like what you heard for this morning, don't forget to leave a comment down below and subscribe. This is Stephen Luke, and I have one more message to those who are Australian. Happy Australia Day. G'day, mates. I hope you have a good morning. Long live Australia. Crikey.